And also I shared some of the links which belongs to this channel. Okay, small things like for it's a 5 to 10 minutes videos. So if you have a if you watch it, then you will understand in a graphical way. Okay. So here it is. The starting one is about your motherboard. What is this? Exactly a motherboard. Either it is you are using a laptop or a desktop or mobile phone, there is a compulsory as a motherboard. Okay, these are motherboard. So on motherboard, there is a socket for a CPU. There is slots for your RAMs, or maybe onboard chipsets like a North bridge, South bridge. Your CMOS means your BIOS chipset, and of course for supporting to power supply support to this your BIOS chip, there is a CMOS battery. And also there is a CPU fan connectivity. There is a CPU fan connectivity, front panel connectors. Okay. And also there is a SMPS power supply connectors, and then some chipsets, audio chipsets, video chipsets, NIC related chipsets. Okay. Um, Yeah, so the processing related different system related chipsets also are there, and of course resistors, capacitors, different power management, and back panel connection. So what is the back panel connection? So where we can able to connect our keyboard, your mouse, and VGA ports kind of stuff. One more I missed. There is a AGP slot for a graphics card, and PCS slots, like you can connect graphic cards or maybe a audio card or additionally USB cards, NICs, network interface cards, Ethernet cards you can install in these PCS slots. So I said front panel connection, right? So this is a cabinet, okay? So means outer layer is there, no? So cabinet. So we have a power button. So power button, power LEDs, restart buttons, hard disk LEDs, those things are there. So there is a connectivity from your front panel connection. And USB ports, for USB ports also there is a connectivity. And you have a monitor. So then for a monitor, you have a monitor means compulsory. You should have a monitors, otherwise you can't see, right? So we can connect to the VGA port, or you can connect to HDMI ports, keyboard, mouse, everything we can able to connect. And of course, you have a hard disk. You have a hard disk. So hard disk to your motherboard, there is a data cable. And SMPS means the power supply. So that power supply connected to your motherboard, and power supply goes to your CPU. One power supply is there, and it will also go for your hard disk. So it meaning is motherboard. On the motherboard, there is a chipsets. On motherboard, you have a CPU slots, RAM slots, okay, AGP slots, PCS slots are there. So there we can connect your CPU, RAM, graphics cards, or NIC cards on your motherboard. And from motherboard, you can also connect your hard disk, front panel connections, USB connections are there. And on motherboard, you have a back panel connection to connect your monitors, keyboard, mouse, or projectors. What we can say, printers, you can connect. So motherboard is all your computer components connected to motherboard only. All your computer components connected to your motherboard, either on the motherboard or to the motherboard it will connect. So It is a main circuit body. It controls all physical device components that are connected directly or indirectly. CPU, RAM, hard disk, expansions are connected to it. Okay, motherboard comes with a different form factors. Of course, there is 80 motherboard, 80X motherboard, mini 80, BNLX kind of motherboards are there. Different form factors means different sizes of motherboard. Small motherboards are there, mini 80X, very small motherboard. It is 80X big motherboard, like that. Form factor means that shape. So this is a old style motherboard. It is. This is our CPU socket. These are the blue one is RAM slots. Okay, and this white bars is a PCI slots. The green one is AGP slot. And here it is. We have a PS2 or PS by 2, which is connected to your mouse and keyboard, USB ports, serial port, parallel port, and VGA port. Somewhere it is here. It is VGA port, maybe in the bottom. And here it is your audio connectivity for mic, speakers, and line-in purpose. And the power supply. This is 20 pin ATX. It's a old one. Now it is 24 pin ATX. Okay, so this is for hard disk cable connection type. It is IDE type and SATA type also there. BIOS, this is north bridge, this is south bridge. Somewhere BIOS chipset is there. Okay, so these are the RAM slots. This some power related coils and capacitors. This is our SMPS power supply. So we install a RAM into the motherboard. These are the RAM. No need to send a separate messages. Balance. Krishna Sai. Yes, BTX, NLX, the different form factors are there. Okay, so this is keyboard and this is for mouse. Now some motherboards having integrated means both combinedly one single slot. And recent previous like 2 years back up to from 2 years up to 3 years we are getting again this PS by 2. Earlier we have a PC by 2. So middle time so they removed this PS by 2 also. This is VGA slot, parallel port, and this is serial port or COM port, and this is Ethernet port, USB, and these are the your audio connectivities for mic, speakers, and line-in connections. So different back panel connectors. You can see how it is look like. PS by 2 and USB. This is for VGA means for monitor and projector kind of stuff. And this is a serial pin connector, and this is LAN port. So I think it is went a little up. So this is our LAN port. Nowadays, the new systems, both your laptops and desktops comes with the HDMI port also. Okay, HDMI directly you can connect to your LED TVs, projectors. Guys, difference between VGA and HDMI? Anybody? Difference between VGA and HDMI? Anyone? No problem. Tell me. Hmm? What is the difference between connecting with VGA, connecting with the HDMI? Normal monitors, projectors, we can connect with VGA port. LED TVs, of course, some projectors we can connect with the HDMI. So depends upon their slot. Of course, nowadays we are getting a monitors with HDMI is also there. Okay, so new kind of monitors come with the HDMI. VGA low density video, HDMI high density video. Like you want to see a HD video, so we can see with HDMI. HD, 2K, 4K, full HD. These are HDMI is very good. And very important, VGA only video. HDMI video as well as audio. Both you can able transmit. That's why if you choose a HDMI port TV, so you don't require any speakers. For example, I have a desktop, so which is I build in a current time. So I instead of purchasing a normal monitor, so I purchase a 24 inches TV. It contains a HDMI port. So I connect with HDMI, so I don't need to buy speakers. I can hear directly from the TV. And of course, there is a monitor comes with a HDMI and built-in speakers. So that is also very good. So HDMI means high definition video, audio, we can able to see. 1 second.
Excuse me, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sir, in real time, like VGA VGA pin is small compared to HDMI. Why is
Shiva,
that?
1 second. Shiva, 1 second. Shiva, tell me now. Shiva, you're telling something VGA and HDMI.
Yeah, sir. So VGA and HDMI. So typically in real time, these are like pins we can observe, right, sir?
Yeah, with the pins. Very good.
Yeah, sir. So my doubt is, sir, why HDMI pins are compact inside? Like why they are reduced compared to VGA?
That is, I don't know. But because that's a manufacturer and it is simple pin type. But if you
Okay,
see
sir.
the USB and all, it is a good attachment and the connectivity is also comes with golden coating.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So no need of bending pins and all will be reduced. Good question. Okay. That is also important, guys. Observations. Okay. So not only just reading, observing, so how it is look like and where it is. So that question is also very important. Yeah, here it is. This is a small thing about your motherboard. Because this is not pure hardware classes. Just try to understand what is the motherboard, how it is look like, and go for a. This is talking. Yeah. Okay. So PC motherboards are look like different motherboards. You can see this is different shape, but still we have a CPU slot, RAM slots, back panel connectivities, and there is some AGP means graphic card related and PCI slots related, PCI Express, small one is PCI Express, and BIOS chipsets and other chipsets also there. Okay, so this is ATX. This is another type of motherboard. Some 10 motherboards having additional features as compared to one motherboard. That's why motherboards cost also different. Some are having a built-in Wi-Fi. Some motherboards having a built-in Wi-Fi, built-in Bluetooth motherboards are there, and we are using SSDs now. Um, these SSD direct slot type SSDs are there. Okay. The small one is a PCIX. So I think this is SSD. SSD slots I'm searching actually. On motherboard, SSD slots are there. So most common general part it is with the SSD slot. This is better, right? Yes. So this is M.2 type of SSDs. Directly we can insert on this one. So no need to connect a hard disk to your motherboard. Say SSDs, these type of motherboards and these type of SSDs directly we can install. Okay, so both should be compatible. So what type of SSD you are using, what type of motherboard you are using. Okay, direct slots are available. So cost will be different. See, this is the SSD on motherboard directly we can install. This type of SSDs we can install into the motherboard. That too motherboard support is required. So he's installing SSD. This is faster as compared to SATA SSDs and normal SATA hard disk. These SSDs are faster. That too you are directly connected to motherboard. Faster communication is there. Okay. So you can go for a different type of motherboard, different things. When you want to buy a motherboard, again, you have to check the cost, number of slots, number of pin configurations. Here it is CPU. There is a CPU power connectivity is also there on motherboard. You can see this is separate CPU power connectivity. Some are 4-pin connectors, some are 8-pin connectors are there. So compulsory you have to check it how many pins for CPU. How many pins? Generally ATX 24-pin power connectivity to motherboard. Additionally on motherboard for CPU separately, this power supply is there. So here it is. This is main power supply and this is separate power supply. 4 plus 2, 4-pin connector, 8-pin connector, like that. Okay. Fan connectors, different front panel connectors. Okay. So next one is number of slots, features of your motherboard. You know, nowadays on motherboard, we're also getting these LEDs. Okay, so we are recently missing this stuff. Where to put it? Why this is came here separate? Okay, so here it is. Can you see? This is the on motherboard LED status. For example, your RAM got a faulty. You're having a RAM faulty RAM. You are not installed RAM properly. So you start your PC on your system. It's a blank screen. So where is an issue? You can see this LED will glow. This LED will glow. It means it is RAM related. So your system is already performed post operation. Find out RAM is a faulty. So how can we understand? So no, nothing on your screen. Okay, no keyboard. LEDs are not blinking. And another one is what we can say beep sounds, continuous beep sounds you can hear. That is earlier. Now these motherboards comes with this LED status. So these LEDs, if this LED, the DRAM LED blinking, the RAM fault. CPU LED will blinking issues. VGA related VGA LED is blinking. It's a VGA related issue. Okay. So different systems having different LED status. So by that one also we can understand where exactly we got a post problem. Power and self-test time. What is the issue? I purchased this desktop. So there is a VGA problem. Then starting only, we didn't have any graphic card. or a processor don't have any graphical memories. So this is blinking. So initial, that is the first time I have seen. I didn't understand. So again, I check it. Oh, this is because of a graphical thing. So I review my processor first. Then I purchase one graphic card and install. Okay. So motherboard is also now it is telling you what about your post related things. See this, where is the issue? Hard disk related issue or anything. So here in this one, something is blinking as my eyes can see. CPU LED is blinking. This glowing means there is a problem with your CPU. Okay. So here it is, VGA is mainly blinking. Here also CPU is blinking. So like that we can understand where is the issue. Here is I think it is CPU only. No, second one. This is second one or third one. So maybe it is RAM. Port LED. So two LEDs. And on motherboard, power LEDs also there, power supply related LEDs. Guys, so this is about your motherboard. Next one is every system need a power supply, right? Every system need a power supply. Without a power supply, you cannot run. Laptop having a power supply, right? Laptop having a power supply and there is a battery. Battery is a DC voltage, right? So in our system also we have a SMPS. Okay, for laptop chargers, that main charger part is there, no? That is SMPS. What is this SMPS is doing? Even for a desktop or laptop, what is this SMPS is doing? Even your mobile phone charges. Our main power supply is 220 volts AC power supply, and it represents with a 50 hertz frequency. This is our main power supply, 220 to 230 volts. This is our main supply. You want to run a bulb, you want to run a fan, you want to run something like AC or a washing machine, mixie, so mixer grinders. Okay, so there are works directly with AC. If required, there will some conversion required. Okay, but our mobile phones or laptops or desktops work with a DC power supply. What we want, a DC power supply. What SMPS is doing, it converts this AC power supply to the DC power supply. It converts AC to DC. And our computer need a different DC voltage levels. We need a plus 12 volts for a certain components. We need a minus 12 volts for certain components. We need a plus 5 volts on certain components, 5 minus 5 volts for certain components, plus 3.3 volts for certain components. Of course, later it will divide, further divide as per the your component. Means some components only need a 0.5 volts. So there it will be voltage will be divided on the motherboard. Okay. Next, of course, for everything we need a ground. 0 volts or a ground. Okay, we need a different voltages that SMPS will convert AC to DC, and that DC also different type of voltages. Okay, so and here it is also earlier motherboards are 80 type, so then we use a 80 type of SMPSs. For 80, it is a connector is like this. They split into two parts. So no, not all these things. So 80, we want, so otherwise we'll put 80 motherboard. This is also ATX. If you see 20 pin or 24 pin, that is ATX. Why it is not showing 80? Actually, 80 power supply, two parts, 8 plus 8, 80 power supply is there. These are showing 80. These are all ATX only. Okay. The power connectivity is 20 or 24 pin connector. 20 or 24 pin connectors. Nowadays, we are all using 24 pin connector for from SMPS to your motherboard. Different voltages are there. So this is how they will connect. And to the motherboard. Okay, yeah, it is 6 pin type of connector is there. So put separately. Why Google is not finding that images. Next one. So already I told. So ATX is a AT extended advanced technology extended 20 pin connector. Nowadays we are using 24 pin connector. And another very important power supply is required 4 or a 6 or 8 pin connector for CPU. On motherboard, already I showed, yeah, this is 80. No, it is PCI. Okay, it's a PCI, it's not 80. Okay, on motherboard, you have a CPU power supply. A connector is also required. Separate on motherboard connector is there. Okay, some are it is like a some motherboards having a 4 pin connector, some motherboards having 8 pin connector, some are having a 6 pin connector. So depends upon that your motherboard and SMPS must be suitable. So this is that CPU 4 pin connector. We can see this is 4 pin connector. Means 8 pin connector. It is 24 pin main power supply connected to motherboard. There is SATA power supply. If you have a SATA hard disk or SATA,
These are all for power supply, sir.
yeah, these are all power connectors from SMPS. You can see this SMPS bunch. Okay.
Which is CPU, sir? SMPS means?
SMPS means
What does that mean, sir? SMPS?
switch mode power supply.
Okay, sir. To the CPU, sir, or monitor?
To the CPU or computer.
Okay.
Okay. So even if you have a mobile phone charger or maybe if you have a laptop charger is there now, that is also SMPS, but different voltages. Our desktops required different type of DC voltages. Main supply is AC voltage. For fan, AC voltage, direct AC voltage. But for computer desktops, okay, so what we need DC voltage. So different type of voltages are required. So SMPS what it will converts AC to DC.
But we receive in DC now, sir, right? Directly we
From
like
mains,
our main like adapter which we use for computer charging, that is DC, right, sir? So we are getting power from home, which is DC or AC, sir.
or home, we have a home connection is there now. For these things, we are getting AC.
AC, okay.
AC. Okay. So for homes, we are getting AC only. All these are AC sockets only. So it is converted into DC
DC. All right, sir.
by using SMPS. Okay, good. So this SMPS having bunch of power connectors to your motherboard and your on motherboard CPU power connectivity, and you have a hard disk. So you can see SMPS to SATA hard disk. Okay, this type of connectors will come. Somewhere we miss. Here it is. See, this is hard disk, and this is the SMPS power connection from SMPS to hard disk power connector. The red one is data connector from motherboard to hard disk. That is data connectivity from SMPS to hard disk. This is the one. So any other images also I will try to show. This is data connector. The beside one is power connector. Power connector. Okay. It will go to the power, hard disk, and it will go to if it required that graphic card. Some graphic cards need a direct power supply. PCI slots we required, and old type of hard disk required this Molex connectors. If you have a floppy disk, old time we have a floppy disk. That floppy disk power supply connectors also. Okay, so different type of connectors from SMPS. So which is connected to different type of components on your PC. Okay, so what SMPS will do, converts AC to DC supply. Our main power supply is AC, it's converted into DC. And that DC is also different voltage levels. 12 volts, minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts, plus 3.3 volts. Each voltage, it is color coded. So this wire, red wire means 5 volts, yellow means plus 12 volts. Some gray kind of stuff is there, that is point plus orange. Orange is plus 3.3 volts. The black one is ground wire. Like that. So what is SMPS? Switch mode power supply. What we are using, ATX type of connectivity. What SMPS will do, it converts AC to DC. Those points are enough. Okay. So I told about motherboard, and I told about SMPS, and I will tell about a small thing about storages. Simple storage only, simple part of storage only, not very heavy level. Once it is done, so then we'll go to the boot process. Because system means first important is CPU, then RAM, and of course ROM. So here it is. Our ROM is nothing but our BIOS chip or UFI chip. And next one is important is motherboard. We need a power supply to work with this machine, right? So we need a SMPS. Of course, this make a system, but to operate a system, we need a operating system. You have to store operating system. You have to store applications. You have to store data. Where to store data? Into the secondary storage devices like a hard disk and other things. What are the secondary storage devices? So magnetic type of storages are hard disk, floppy disk, tape drives, zip drives. These are all comes under things. And these are the tape drives. These are the CD-ROMs. Okay. So hard disk, floppy disk, tape drives, zip drives are a magnetic type of storage devices. What is secondary storage devices? Actually, it is non-volatile memories. Okay. Even though power is off, data stores in those devices, and majorly for storing your operating system, applications, and your data. So generally we are using hard disk. Floppy disk nowadays we are not using. Tape drives are used for backup purpose. Zip drives, earlier days we used zip drives. It is look like a big floppy only, but you know people install operating system into multiple pieces. They use this kind of zip drives. Faster loading operating system, faster transmitting data from one system to another system. They use zip drives. Next one is optical storages. Next one is optical storages like a CD, DVD, okay, Blu-ray. These are all optical. Floppy disk, nowadays we are not using, but maximum floppy disk size is 1.44 MB. So not even nowadays you cannot put a picture also. Olden days in a floppy disk, we store a lot of documents in floppy disk. That time the background kind of stuff also very less. So we put a very less. In my diploma project, I store into the floppy disk, entire project document. Okay. But now it is not. In my engineering, I need a CD drive. In my engineering, I need a CD. Store my entire project document. Okay. So zip drives with comes with the different sizes. Tape drives, already I told, it is cheaper backup solutions. You know, even for a CC cameras, in certain organizations use CC cameras, their storage for CC camera data into the tape drives only. It is a sequential memory. You cannot select one file directly from tape drives. So that's it is they use for a backup only. So their names are DAS or DAT kind of stuff. Okay. Digital data storage or digital audio tapes. The size is also available 40 GB, 80 GB, 160 GB, 320 GB kind of stuff. Next one is CD drives. Again, nowadays we are not using. It is 700 MB maximum. And earlier days, they started to use audio disk, then storage and operating system storage purpose also. They use CD drive for moving data from one place to another place, CDs. Then DVDs came. DVDs use space 4.7 GB, and another type of DVDs also there, 8 or 8.5 with a double side. Okay, means two side of CD DVD is there. That's like a 8.5 or 8 GB. Blu-ray comes with 25 GB and 50 GB. 25 GB data you can store in one single Blu-ray disc. If it is a double layer, it is 50 GB. Okay. So different storage kind of stuff. See, from floppy disk 1.44 MB to the Blu-ray 25 GB. Of course, we have a external hard disk nowadays. SSDs are there. SSDs are faster. External hard disk is you can store huge data. I have 2 terabyte of external hard disk. Yeah, 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry. Um, so what is the use of this? Storing operating system, applications, and data. Data means music files, video files, documents. You can store. Generally, where we store your internal hard disk, either SATA type or PATA type of hard disk. SSDs. Now we are using SSD, right? Most of the laptops comes with SSD. Even for a desktops also, recent desktops, we can put a SSDs. And there are also different models also there. And you can store data into externally in a USB pen drives, USB external hard disk, and SD cards also you can store the data. And this eMMC, what is this eMMC? You have a mini laptops, mobile phones, data stores in eMMC. Okay, so these are the mini laptops. You can see the any laptop 64 GB eMMC storage. Okay, so this is a mini laptop, so cost is very less. 14,000, 15,000, 20,000, you will get it. Very less processing capacity, very less RAM and storage capacity. You cannot put a hard disk inside. Okay, 128 GB eMMC. It's look like good. Hmm. So very less power, 4 GB RAM, 128 GB eMMC. Cost is not available. It is 21,000 HP. It will look like good. Of course, they are giving SSD. Very good. That is good. But processor is very less. Okay. Even for your mobile phones, inside a built-in mobile phone, you have a storage, right? Internal storage is there, no? So that is like you purchase a mobile with a 128 internal memory. What is that internal memory? eMMC chip only. It is on the on the board. It is not separately stored. Okay. So this is what I am trying to say. Guys, understand different type of storages. Anybody? This is what happened. I'm muted.
No, sir, you are audible.
Audible. Then understand what is the different type of secondary storage devices and the
Yeah, sir.
basic difference between storages. Okay. Purpose of this storage devices. So first I will tell about a hard disk and about SATA and PATA. Okay. Just for abbreviations and knowing how it is look like. Okay. So what is the storage? This is non-volatile means permanent storage. Even though you turn off your PC, you disconnected from the system, data remains in the disk only. Okay. There are two type of interfaces for the disk. Before that one, if you see this round one, disk one called a plotter. This is called a plotter. This is accuter arm and the tape. There is a accuter means read and write header is there. It contains a magnetic coating inside. So what it will disk rotates, this will be move inside to outside. So data will be read and write like that only. So where the data stores in this platter only. Data stores in the platter. Advanced technology attachment. This is a connectivity technology to your hard disk to your motherboard. In that one, parallel advanced technology attachment means PATA. PATA type of disk, the connector is having 40 pin. You have to use this ribbon cable to connect it. One ribbon cable, you connect two hard disk. Think like this. This is the blue one. The blue one is, one second. Okay. Sorry. The blue one goes to your motherboard, and these two are we can able to connect to hard disk. Okay, that is SATA type of hard disk. So it's having 40 pin connector. It has a ribbon cable. SATA is a 7-pin connector, single wire type only. As compared to PATA and SATA is a faster than PATA. Okay, so this is the SATA hard disk. If you see, this is the data connector. This is power connector. Okay, the first one, this one, small one is data connector, and this is the power connector. So this is the data cable we use to connect. Okay, so this is the data connector, how it is, we are connecting. So again, so in a hard disk, by connectivity, SATA and PATA. Nowadays, we are using SATA only. We are using SATA. PATA, we are not using. Next one. Guys, internal hard disk, external hard disk are there. We have a internal hard disk and external hard disk. Internal hard disk, two sizes, 3.5 inches hard disk. Okay, either SATA or PATA, 3.5-inch hard disk. It look like a big and heavy. So that is for a desktop purpose only. Evaluation. 1 second, guys, please. That is effect of work from home. Sorry. Okay. 3.5 inches means for desktop purpose. So it is look bigger kind of stuff. Okay. So 2.5 inches is used for laptops and mini PCs. So 2.5-inch hard disk. So this is, can see the comparison. This is 3.5. This is 2.5. So 2.5 is a smaller and it is suitable for a laptops. 3.5, 2.5. Okay. External hard disk. So I think I didn't put any external hard disk here. I think it is there. I think gone from here. Maybe it is in another document. So we'll see. External hard disk. So these are the external hard disks. You can simply connect with a simple USB port. Of course, 3.1 or 3.2 USB type of connector we will get it. So faster data we can transmit. What is the use of using this external hard disk? What is the use of using this external hard disk? External hard disk. What is the purpose of this external hard disk? External hard disks are actually store your backup. You want to transfer heavy data. For example, in my laptop, I have a big downloaded files are there. OS related files or virtual machine files or maybe some big documents are there. I want to transfer to another system. Maybe one of our trainer required some voice image. It is 10 GB. So I cannot transfer through network or email kind of stuff, right? So it is difficult and it will take more time also. So what I am doing? So simply I will copy that data into external hard disk, transfer the data to his laptop. Okay. Or I want to put a backup. So I have a files which is I am currently not required. Application downloaded application are there, documents are there. I will keep it in external hard disk. Okay. Backup storage data which is not required in the PC. And it is also available with the different sizes. Okay. External hard disk also available with the different sizes. Okay. So 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte, 4 terabytes also available. Okay. So with a different cost and different models, different features also available. So this is about your hard disk, guys. SATA type of hard disk connectivity and PATA type of hard disk connectivity, both internal and external hard disk. Okay. So in a hard disk, data stores in plat. Nowadays, we are getting SSDs. What is SSD? Solid state drive. It is a NAND type of memory, like your pen drives, memory cards, how it is store the data. Same way, data stores in chips. In a hard disk, data stores in platters, but in SSDs, data stores in chips. Okay. So where the data stores? In chips. In hard disk, data stores in platter. Of course, it is also a non-volatile memory. If you disconnect, um, So it is a lightweight, guys, compared to hard disk. It is lightweight, easy to carry, and easy to transport, less power consumption, and small in size. Already I told it is a small in size. Again, what is the difference between hard disk and SSDs? Compared to hard disk, SSD is in SSD data stores in chips. It is a lightweight, so you can easily carry. It is small in size, of course. You can easily carry, easy to transport. You can see, and less power consumption compared to hard disk. SSDs are um, less power consumption, and very important is very high speed data transmission compared to hard disk. Data transmission is very speed. Both read and write speed is compared to hard disk. It is very good. And what is the main purpose of SSD? Why we need SSDs nowadays? To store operating system and applications. Why? Because faster booting, faster application loading. Because the read and write speed, data transmission speed, SSD is comparatively hard disk is faster. Okay. So better to store your operating system. Even if you are having a servers, the server operating system stores in SSDs. Okay. Not suitable for regular data. Now you want to store a movie or you want to store your music files or regular data files. So you don't require SSD. Normal hard disk is enough. You don't require more speed to open a file and read a file or write a file inside. But if anything is like you are doing a multimedia graphics kind of stuff, okay, you have both read and write required for a particular documents or Excel sheets on a particular application storage, right? So then compulsory SSDs, you can go for it, not to store some additional data. Okay. So because of SSD is comparatively costly. Okay. If you compare 1 TB of hard disk to 1 TB of SSD, almost all double or triple cost is there. Now, of course, SSDs also comes in lesser cost. Finally done somewhat work. Okay. Next one is in hard disk SSDs also two different types. SATA type of interface SSDs, which is look like this one. It is a SATA type of SSD. It means you have a normal older desktops or laptops. You can replace a regular hard disk with a SATA type of SSD. For example, I said in my desktop, I put SSDs. There inside normal SATA interface is there. So I put a SSD with SATA interface and external means additional regular hard disk also I put it. I want a more faster booting of operating system. So I put operating system into SSD, remaining data into other external things. Okay. So generally up to here is when I collect the information that time SATA SSDs, the read and write speed is like this one 500 Mbps, around 500 Mbps only. I said another type M.2 type, NVMe M.2 type. Now M.3 also came. Okay. So I don't know that speed. So you have to verify any new work models are there, new upgraded versions are there. You have to check. Guys, M.2 is not like a socket wire connectivity. It is directly inserted into motherboard. Just I showed earlier for a motherboard how we can able to insert. Okay. These SSDs directly we are inserting on the motherboard. Okay, so it is faster, and on the motherboard means it is like your RAM and CPU are inserting on a motherboard means direct communication with that one. So no delay in the wire type of communication. It is costlier than compared to SATA SSD. Okay, SSDs are costly compared to normal hard disk, and it is faster than normal hard disk, lightweight and easy to transmit, and of course low power consumption. Again, NVMe M.2 SSDs is costlier than SATA hard disk, faster than SATA SSDs, costly than SATA SSDs. Okay, we can insert into motherboard like CPU and RAM, and read and write speed. If you are comparing, that is around 500. This is around a 2000 Mbps. It is a 4 times faster than normal SATA SSDs because that's wire connectivities, and of course internal chipset and all. The model is different. Guys, understand the difference between hard disk and SSDs?
Yeah, sir. So usually SSD are called as referred as SATA SSD, sir, because you're naming all the SSDs SATA.
Yeah, two type of SSDs. You want to buy a SSD, and then I go to the SSD shop. It is This is one type of SSD. You can see different type of SSD.
Yeah, sir. One is
And if you,
chips, like
yeah,
and yes,
you can see this is a kind of interface, right? See, this is a corner.
yes, sir.
Yeah, this model is M.2.
Okay.
Okay, M.2 type of SSD. And it is 500 GB SSD, but its a cost is 3,370. Now it is very less. Earlier it is very cost. Mm, yeah, think like this. This is yeah, this is also 500 SSD. No, it's not 500, 1 TB. Okay. See, this interface is little different. See, normal SATA interface. This is the data cable goes. This is power cable goes. Interface is different. This type of
Yes.
SSD. Okay.
Okay.
So 1 TB is around 7,100. Also, you can get the other details. Yeah, you got the point. I think, see, this is 1 TB of this type of SSD, 10,399. This type of 1 TB is cost is around 7,100. So cost is different. Speed, data transmission is also different. It is around 500 read and write speed. And if you go to this, it's increased. I think it's a new version. No, 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 not new version. So only some points are increased. So 10,000, and you can see technology is 6,000. Read and write speed somewhere it will give. This is the read and write speed, more than 2,000 read and write speed. So almost 4 times faster. And these type of SSDs means M.2 type directly we can insert onto your motherboard, either desktop or laptop. Important is your desktop or laptop should be support, that motherboard should be supported for this type of SSDs. Lightweight, less space occupation is there. Okay, guys, understand? Good.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I don't want to extend this part, but I want to tell because next we are going for a boot processing, because I'm not going to this disk management right now. So I'm going for a boot processing after this one. So from here, after break, we'll go for a boot processing. So understanding two terminology. So just I am telling about MBR for that one. I said. So here, every hard disk, either you take a hard disk or SSDs. When you are insert a new fresh hard disk, you take in a new system, either it is laptop or a desktop, and you put a your hard disk, and you are connected to your motherboard. Now you power on the system. This is fresh one. Okay, your motherboard with BIOS. This is a old style motherboard. So legacy setup or a BIOS is enabled. So your hard disk will recognize as a MBR type of disk. Okay, it is initialized that one as a MBR disk. Okay. Second, while you installing operating system, you are installing operating system and you are want to install OS in this hard disk. Your system is BIOS. Automatically, it is MBR. Second, for example, your BIOS is not BIOS. Now it is UEFI. New type of laptops or desktops comes with UEFI feature. Okay. So now you are having a hard disk and you are installing an operating systems like Windows 8 or Windows 10 or Windows 11 or a Linux, Enterprise Linux 7 or 8 or a 9. So you try to install OS into your hard disk, fresh hard disk. If you are having a UEFI framework and you are installing latest operating system, your hard disk will be initialized as a GPT. Okay, it's a either MBR type of hard disk or GPT type of hard disk. You can see I inserted a new hard disk, additional hard disk here. I inserted a additional hard disk. It is not initialized. Now it is asking initialize the disk as MBR type or GPT type. Okay, boot time I can't show you, right? So I'm showing here currently it is when you insert a new hard disk, you have to initialize the disk as MBR type or GPT type. If you're installing operating system in a fresh hard disk based on your motherboard and OS, it will be initialized as MBR or GPT. So it is when a fresh or a new hard disk drive connected to your system, so system asks for initialization. Is it MBR type or a GPT type? When we install OS, fresh OS into fresh system, fresh hard disk, it is depends upon your BIOS firmware and your old means your operating system and motherboard and your BIOS firmware. It is initialized as MBR automatically. Your motherboard is UEFI and you are using latest operating system. It is initialized as a GPT. So either you add a new hard disk, flask, you want to initialize as MBR or GPT. Okay. So already existing OS is there. Okay. In case you are installing new OS, depends upon operating system, of course, and depends upon you are using UEFI or BIOS. So based on that, it will be initialized as MBR or a GPT. Guys, understand? Small confusion is there. It's okay. Just we'll pass on and we'll come back to that part. What is this MBR? Master boot record. What is GPT? GUID partition table. Already I told in BIOS that time MBR. Now you are using UEFI It is GPT partition. Okay. So what is this MBR? If you initialize the disk as a MBR, a MBR record will be created on the hard disk one part only. Master boot record, guys. You have a hard disk. I'm going to disk management. See, this is my hard disk, 500 GB. It is divided into multiple partitions. And I have mainly two disks. One is C, another one is D only. And what type of disk it is? It's showing convert into MBR, means it is a GPT partition. It is a GPT partition. Okay. So, kind of stuff. Okay. Like that, if it is MBR partition, I can create only 4 primary partitions. First partition is primary, second is primary, third partition is primary, fourth partition is primary. For example, anything left over you cannot create. Can't create anything. My mind is also not connecting properly. Think like this. I have a 500 GB total hard disk. It is MBR type. First hard partition I created 100 GB. 300 GB is there. Now I have a 50 GB. 50 GB. So how much is there? 100, 50, 50. Three primaries are completed. Okay. And 200 means 300 is left. Now I created another 50 GB primary partition. How much is left? 250. This 250 you cannot use. You cannot store any data. So what you have to do? You have to remaining 300, you have to create primary. Or you have to manage properly like a 200, 200, 100 or a 100, 150, 150, 100, 100 like that. Okay. So you have to manage properly. Okay, guys. So you can create a 4 primaries maximum, but I want more. For example, I need a 10 partitions at least. I have a big hard disk. I have a 10 partitions. So what I will do, I'll create 3 primary and make remaining as a extended partition. Remaining entire 300 as a extended. In a extended, I can create multiple logical partitions. For example, this is 50 GB, 50 GB, 20 GB, 10 GB. Like that, I can create a multiple logical partitions. The overall 26 partitions we can able to create. Of course, not 26. Around 26 minus 2, 24 partitions we can create it with the drive letters. Without drive letters, we can create multiple partitions. Again, so if your disk is MBR, you can create maximum 4 primary partitions. Your disk is, for example, you put only 3 primary and make the remaining one as a extended. Only one single extended we can create. Inside extended, we can create a multiple logical partitions. This is point number 1. MBR means either 4 primary or 3 primary, 1 extended. Inside a 1 extended, you can create a logical partition. And of course, nowadays we are using like this only, if it is for MBR. And one more important point is, if you create a partition, the maximum partition size is 2 terabyte. Maximum single partition size support is 2 terabyte. Guys, understand MBR Next one is GPT. You inserted a new hard disk and you initialize the disk as GPT. GUID partition table. And how many partitions you can able to create it? You can create number of primary partitions. There is no primary, no extended, all primaries only. Okay. You can create 128 primary partitions. And each partition size support up to 18 EB. In some places, it shows 9.4 zettabytes. Okay, in some textbooks, I have checked in some standards textbooks like Microsoft and Red Hat textbooks, that is 18 EB, practically unlimited. Okay, 18 EB extra byte. Gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, like that. It goes on. Zettabyte, hexabyte. So 18 EB for each partition. So why we need UEFI? UEFI for secure boot and GPT partition. Through GPT partition type, how many primary? 128 primary. So no need to put a primary extended kind of stuff. All primary simple create and then we can go on. 128 primaries. And also you can create 18 each partition. 18 EB means bigger hard disk support is also available. Guys, this is about your MBR and GPT. It's a disk partition style. What is MBR and GPT? Disk partition style. So if it is MBR type for primary or 3 primary, 1 extended, in 1 extended you can create multiple number of logical drives. Okay, each partition size support up to 2 terabytes. GPT, GUID partition table, 128 primary partitions you can create it, and no extended, no logical kind of stuff, more than 2 terabyte of partition size up to 18 EB. So this is done. Of course, here I have done some practicals, practical notes is also given, and I switch it to some other topic, but this much not required at present because I'm telling that GPT for your boot processing purpose. Guys, take a break for 10 minutes. Okay, 10-15 minutes max. Come back at 12:20 or 12:25. So I will explain this boot process.
Okay, sir.